So most of the time when we think about moving a mountain, we're thinking about speaking to that mountain and telling it to move. One of the other ways that you move a mountain is that you move yourself. So that the mountain is moved because I speak to myself. And as a result of talking to myself, I ascend the mountain and descend the mountain. And now the mountain is behind me. I moved it by moving me. But then also, the Lord spoke to me and said, there are some mountains that I have placed there for them to be a part of the landscape of your life. And I realized that there are some mountains that the Lord has placed in my life, not for me to rebuke and not for me to put behind me, but for me to actually take ownership of it and say, this is my mountain. And I'm going to build a fortress on the top of this mountain. But I'm also going to dig down deep inside this mountain because there's diamonds in mountains and there's rubies in mountains. There's gold in Dimdare Hills. That there's something in the mountain that is valuable. The Lord started to speak to me about taking it a step further. And the step further is that actually all of the mountains are a part of your journey. Anyone that reaches greatness or more is going to get there in a mountain landscape. It'd be great if it was flat. Anyone that's reached any place of greatness got there through a mountain landscape journey. If we had an interview with Bill Gates, he would talk to us about the highs and lows, the ups and downs of what it took for him to get to who he is right now. It's like people don't see that journey. They don't realize that that was a mountain he had to climb. And then when you get to the top of that mountain, you realize that there's more mountains behind it. And you have to be prepared to maybe descend and go through a valley to climb up another mountain. And I realized that there are these mountains that every person that has gotten to greatness has dealt with these 5 mountains. That in and of itself is a challenge. It's a mountain. Now, we wouldn't have that challenge or this difficulty if we didn't care. If we were just content and we're just like, oh yeah, we're good. And there are some people that get to that point as a result of dealing with the personal mountains of attack in their life. They can be robbed of the hunger for this final mountain, which is great, or more, or better, or greatness. And they learn to just deal with the status quo and just settle. But more and greatness is the final mountain. And once I get that mountain, then the challenge changes. Because to me, the worst thing is to fall off of that mountain. Because I don't want to get there and not have with me the things I needed to sustain me when I got there. Because I think that we can fall more in love with the destiny than we are with the journey itself. How do I get to greatness? How do I get to more? When I get to more, it's the highest of all the mountains. The faith it takes to reach that mountain, and then the consistency and the discipline it takes to stay on that mountain. But that each successive mountain is leading to that final mountain of more and that final mountain of greatness. And all of those mountains have to be dealt with. You can't escape it. Every person has the potential to be great in some particular way. And the beginning of that is understanding that there are mountains that you're going to face as you go.